Alright, good evening ladies. In today's video, we're going to be going through one of the biggest opportunities of the entire crypto cycle that is happening in less than 2 weeks. It's happening on the Bitcoin halving, is the commencement date of this new niche or narrative within crypto. It's kind of a mixture of the two biggest narratives in crypto for this cycle. One of the two biggest narratives, which is meme coins and ordinals. AI is another one, of course, but it's not hitting that box directly. But it's hitting ordinals and meme coins, and it's essentially ordinal meme coins. And that, of course, is the new Rune standard being implemented on Bitcoin on the Bitcoin halving date. So in this video, I'm going to explain exactly what runes are, how and where you can buy them, and finally I'm going to share all the details on the top rune projects that are dropping in a couple of weeks' time and how exactly I'm allocating to these projects. First, I want to show you this chart, which kind of gives you an idea of why the scale of this opportunity is so massive. So reading from left to right, we can see the pre-runes market cap right now is about $1 billion. So you can actually go ahead and get exposure to runes already, and this is already valued at 1 billion. Next, we have the Solana meme coin market cap is 9 billion, whereas the Solana total market cap of this actual Solana blockchain is 77 billion. So meme coins are about 1/10 the valuation of the Solana blockchain, whereas the market cap of Bitcoin is well over $1 trillion. So if this not going to happen overnight or potentially ever, but if there was the same kind of valuation between runes and the actual Bitcoin blockchain, you know, these rune coins could obviously go absolutely berserk. And I don't think that's ever going to reach 10% of Bitcoin's market cap, but I just want to give you an idea of the amount of capital that's stored on Bitcoin. And, you know, a lot of it isn't degen capital that wants to invest in meme coins or in JPEGs like ordinals, but, you know, there is a lot of capital there. And even if just a small amount of capital wants to increase their Bitcoin exposure or get some leverage Bitcoin, maybe they'll look at some of these runes and some of these ordinals. So what exactly are runes? Like I said, it's a mixture of the two biggest narratives being ordinals and meme coins. Like I said, it's essentially just meme coins on the ordinal standard. Now, we've already had BRC20s, which is kind of like a fungible version of Bitcoin ordinals. So maybe a quick refresher on what ordinals are. They're basically inscriptions on a Satoshi. So you can actually inscribe arbitrary data onto a Satoshi, and that will be forever immutably inscribed on that Bitcoin, on that Satoshi. So you can actually put anything you want onto a Satoshi. You can put a video, you can put a game, you can put a JPEG, and now there's like different developments. How do we get fungible tokens inscribed on the ordinals protocol? So they kind of came up with this BRC20 standard, but BRC20 is quite clunky. Someone just kind of came up with it on the fly. You kind of buy these coins in lots of, let's say 50 or lots of 100, like you can see from this image here. And then if you want to sell a certain part of that lot of 100 coins, you can divide it up to 50 and 50 and sell just 50. But it's quite clunky. The UX is pretty terrible. So basically, Casey Rodemore, the guy who actually created ordinals, the guy who invented this whole protocol, has redone it. He didn't do BRC20s, but he's coming out with this rune standard. And of course, because it's being created by him, it's slightly better, but more importantly, it's backed by him. So it's going to be the largest fungible protocol on Bitcoin. Essentially, it'll probably make most BRC20s irrelevant, and a lot of BRC20s are going to migrate over to the runes standard. So let's now talk about the best projects, the biggest rune projects. So there's 3 I want to talk about in today's video, and yeah, I'm actually invested in all of them at this point, but we'll dive into that a little bit further on. Alright, so the first project we'll talk about is actually the first runes project that hit the market or kind of hit the scene. And you know, you can't actually, runes aren't live yet, so you can't get real runes yet. Basically, this project, RSIC, airdropped the entire ordinals community. Like basically, if you were early in ordinals, if you had a lot of ordinals, kind of the exact algorithm on who got it or how many they got is not fully certain, but they airdropped 20,000 of these RSICs. I got 2 of them, which is nice, but basically what you have to do, you have to activate these RSICs, and you could activate them by sending them to yourself, or even selling them would activate it. So it just had to be transacted once, and once this RSIC was activated, it was going to start mining runes for you of the RSIC runes. So basically, you, by holding it in your wallet, you're mining this coin from this project, and they were very early on the runes. They're the first one, and it's looking like they're going to have the very first rune on Bitcoin potentially, because just like with ordinals, like, you know, the way the inscriptions are actually numbered, like there's the first inscription, there's a second inscription, and they're obviously really, really valuable because they're the first ones, and, you know, there's historical provenance there. Rune or SIC is likely to be, or potentially going to be, the first rune once it does drop on the Bitcoin halving date. Now, you could also get a boost for RSIC, and it would actually boost the amount that you're mining. And currently the RSIC, I have 500,000 runes, and as you can see, I have just over 500,000 runes, and you see the little rocket on my allocation there. That means I have a booster on it, and I actually sold one of my RSICs, which I shouldn't have when I got it airdropped, but I kept the other one, and these are trading for somewhere in the range of 3 to 5 cents. So you can work out how much that is, but it's a pretty tasty airdrop when it does drop. Now, do I think it's a good investment to buy one of these now, these RSICs? You know, it's a bit riskier because you're at a disadvantage to people who have been mining the rune coins this whole time. But also, if you're a holder of one of these RSICs, it's also a bit risky to sell one because there'll be random allocate, like not all the supply has been minted. Even though it's dropping in 2 weeks, I think there's still 40% of the supply to be airdropped or minted to RSIC holders. So there's going to be a certain allocation that's going to be randomly allocated, and there's going to be lotteries. So, you know, it's potentially worth holding throughout until all of that is completed. And, you know, these RSIC coin is probably going to do quite well because it's the first rune on Bitcoin, the first like meme coin on Bitcoin. Now, like, there's not really much utility to these runes. Like, I can't really see them replacing Solana coins or real ERC20s, like with real functionality. Like, you know, it's still going to be quite clunky. It's not some breakout technology, but it's just some interesting thing. Like, being able to trade meme coins on Bitcoin is just, you know, interesting, and maybe something innovative or cool will come out of it. But at the moment, it's going to be very basic. Just want you to be aware of that. Right, so the second project we're going to talk about is actually the biggest runes project that there is, and it's Runestone. And this is created by Leonidas NFT, and he, you know, is a very OG Bitcoin ordinals guy and has a lot of engagement on his posts, and he's very smart, and, you know, he's a well-respected member in the ordinals community, and he also airdropped these Runestones to the entire ordinals community. I think you needed to hold 3 ordinals in your wallet, and no matter how many ordinals, as long as you had 3 ordinals, you got airdropped one of these Runestones. So that was quite a fair distribution. So whales weren't given more than people who are just, you know, not whales, but just had a couple of ordinals in their collection. However, like, it also wasn't really farmed because no one knew what the criteria was. So even if, like, there wasn't probably loads of people who had multiple Bitcoin wallets with 3 ordinals set up. So it wasn't Sybiled either, which is, you know, smart, which is good as well. So Runestones, you don't have to mine, you don't have to activate it, you don't have to do anything. So this is potentially a better thing to look at if you don't have any runes exposure. It's a little bit expensive potentially for some people watching this, but yeah, it's basically once runes go live, if you're holding one of these, you're going to be able to claim those rune tokens. And I think there's going to be 3 different coins that are going to come out over the course of a year or 2. And the first one is going to be a dog token. It's going to be a meme coin, and I think this is going to be the mascot of the meme coin. Maybe it's just probably his own dog, I don't know. But this is actually the biggest market cap. It has a market cap, like, this is actually an image from yesterday or a couple of days ago, because you see Runestone has the second highest market cap of any NFT project, and Runestones are actually 0.07 Bitcoin. So the reason Runestones are valued, have much higher market cap than RSIC, there's actually 100,000 Runestones as opposed to 20,000, with, I think there's 112,000 or something. So there's a lot more Runestones than there are RSIC. So the market cap's actually huge. It's like I said, it's actually 0.07 Bitcoin today. So it's even higher than that. It's like $600-700 million, almost biting at the tails of CryptoPunks. That's absolutely insane. It's bigger than Pudgy Penguins, Bored Ape Yacht Club, all of them. Runestones also have the backing of Beeple. He's actually done a couple of artworks on runes already, and yeah, that's the image of the Runestone. They're actually quite cool looking. Okay, so the last project we're going to talk about is probably the most fun one, and this is a Runecoin project actually being created by a meme project. So the meme project in question is Bitcoin Puppets. You've probably seen these little weird little creatures on your timeline if you're on Twitter the odd time, but these are on the track to being the number one PFP on Bitcoin. They're like almost I think they're 0.4 of Bitcoin right now, and you know, a couple of months ago they were basically a few $100s. So they've just gone absolutely ballistic in price, and they're actually an OG project. I didn't realize. I thought they kind of just came out of nowhere, but the guy who created them is actually very OG in the ordinal space as well. And you know, you can tell like it's just fun. It's kind of like the miladies of Bitcoin. It's just kind of in your face, counterculture kind of thing. Looks stupid in a funny way. That's kind of the idea behind Bitcoin Puppets. I unfortunately faded them completely. However, they are coming out with a runes project, and basically if you held Bitcoin Puppets, you were airdropped a Rune Pups, one of these ordinals. So yeah, there's ordinals and there's rune coins. That's just this might get a little bit complicated, so I just want to make everything as clear as possible. So if you held one of the Bitcoin Puppets, you were airdropped another ordinal called Rune Pups, and eventually those Rune Pups you'll be able to burn the Rune Pups for the Rune coin. So I think 23% of the supply of the Rune coin, the Pups token it's going to be called, PUPS, 23% of the supply of that is going to be allocated to the holders of the Rune Pups, or you're going to burn your Rune Pups to be able to get that token. The other 73% is already on BRC20 standard and also on Solana. So you can actually buy it on Bitcoin, the Pups token, as a BRC20, or you can buy it on Solana. They also open some liquidity on Solana, and eventually you're going to be able to transfer them and actually make them into a Rune coin. So you can buy them in lots of a few hundred or 50 or something as a BRC20. So you need a little bit more capital if you're doing that. Or you can buy them on Solana, and obviously you can buy as little as you want on Solana. And these actually these were quite cheap a few days ago. The Pups token were quite cheap a few days ago. But then Ansem, you've probably seen Ansem on Twitter. If you're watching this video, there's a high likelihood he's like the main character of this cycle. But he went on live stream. I think there's like 100,000 people watching his live stream of him just sitting in a cafe, just chatting shit. And basically he started talking about the Pups token. And this is the chart of what the Pups token did after he started talking about it. So as you can see, it just spiked up. And this was the Solana version of the Pups token. So it went from whatever it was at the bottom there all the way up to like $140 per token. And then obviously came back to reality. But essentially there was an arbitrage because obviously a lot of Ansem's followers were Solana degens. So they were buying up the Pups token on Solana. And the Solana version of the Pups token went way higher than the Bitcoin version of the Pups token. So I actually bought the Bitcoin version of the Pups token, which was a little bit cheaper when I bought it. And yeah, personally, I do think this Pups token is going to be like potentially the number one meme coin on Bitcoin. And it's right now it's still under like $200 million market cap on Bitcoin, and adding in the Solana market cap, I think that's about 50 million. So not a huge market cap for what is the most memeable meme coin on Bitcoin. Because like the RSIC and the Runestones, like they're cool and all, but they're not as memey as, I know this all sounds a bit ridiculous, like crypto is ridiculous. So if you haven't realized that yet, a lot of things in crypto are ridiculous. And of course, Bitcoin Puppets are the most ridiculous thing of them all. And sometimes allocating to the most ridiculous thing is sometimes the best strategy. So I actually I bought a decent bag of the Pups token, and yeah, I'm kind of break even on it for now, but I think in the long term, or when runes do go live, I think it could perform well. Not financial advice, of course. It's becoming more clear. Like obviously I was a big proponent of Bitcoin Frogs, like that was my OG Ordinals project, but then Node Monkeys came along and Bitcoin Puppets came along and kind of took the number 1 and number 2 spot. But now it's starting to become clear that Bitcoin, in my eyes anyway, Bitcoin puppets are going to be the #1 project on Bitcoin. And the fact that the Pups token is being backed by Ansem also, everything he talks about now is going to do well just based on the fact that he's talking about it. So, it's potentially good to bet on whatever he's betting on because he's the main character of the cycle. Nevertheless, I'm also heavily exposed, well, not heavily exposed, but I have one of the Runestones that got airdropped. I'm kind of looking at buying another one, to be honest. But maybe once they actually launch, if there's a dip, maybe I can ape in to more of the Runestones there. And obviously I have the RSICs as well. Now, there are other runes project that you can, I think there's Rune Guardians. There's plenty of other ones that are potentially cheaper, but they're the main ones and probably the ones that, have the best risk to reward. And the fact that you can actually buy pups on Solana, so if you don't have a few thousand that you need to buy a Runestone, that's a lot to invest for a lot of people, especially in essentially meme coins. So if you don't want to buy a Runestone, if you don't want to buy an RSIC, you can get the pups on Solana, which is you can buy fraction, however little of it that you want as just speculation. So all of these projects are the whole market cap of these is still under 1 billion for runes. So, there is definitely room to grow. Ordinals are going to be one of the biggest narratives of the entire cycle. They already are, of course. And right now, people love betting on meme coins. Meme coins are kind of really good at the start of a bull run because they're divisible and everything, and they're not really flex items. They're just for speculation. And at the end of the bull run, people love betting on JPEGs because they're flex symbols and everyone's already rich. So at the end of the cycle, NFTs and ordinals, the actual JPEGs, are going to do well, the non-divisible ones, the non-fungible ones. But at the start of a bull cycle, fungible tokens do a lot better. And we've already seen how well the non-fungible versions of ordinals have been doing in this cycle. We've already seen how big a narrative it's going to be. Now there's going to be actual real fungible tokens on Bitcoin. There's a potentiality that it has a meme coin runs just like the way Solana meme coins did. Now that's no guarantee or anything. Obviously none of this, it's not going to have the same UX as Solana. It's not going to be in and out really fast. Transactions are slow, transactions are expensive. So just keep that in mind. It's not going to change the world or anything, but it's a new thing for people to speculate on. And it's probably highly likely that they're going to speculate on it. And Ansem, as we said, he's the main character of the cycle. He's saying Pups is the whiff of Bitcoin. And we obviously saw how well whiff did. Thousands of X. So Pups being at a 200 million valuation and whiff is $3 or $4 billion valuation. There's plenty of meme coins on Ethereum that have multiple billions of dollars in valuation. There's no reason why a meme coin on Bitcoin can't also have billions of dollars in valuation too. Right now, none of them do. They're all still in the hundreds of millions. So there is an opportunity there. Don't go too crazy on it, but just definitely something to be aware of. Coming on the Bitcoin halving, which is on the 20th of April on 420. Funnily enough, history couldn't have been written better than that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. If you want to join my Telegram group, I'll leave that in the description. There's 2 different topics in there. One which is a ask me questions and general chat with other people, and then the other one I'm just if you wanted to find out about the pups, I messaged about that a few days ago. Obviously I can just send a message in Telegram, much easier. So I have a topic in Telegram where it's just me talking, so you can just read what I'm thinking about and then ask questions in the other chat. So if you did enjoy the video, hit the thumbs up, use any of my referral links in the description, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye.